this is absolutely one of my favorite trail cam spots for the rut. This is an incredible rut funnel. Basically all the deer from every direction are funneled right to here. And we've got a stand not 20 yards away, right up the ridge. So let me just show you why this spot is so special. Obviously there's different topography within the landscape here. So there's a huge ditch right here leading up to the stand. Obviously the deer aren't gonna wanna cross that, right? And on the other side of that is a big, steep, basically hill that we can climb up to the stand from, but no deer wanna go down that when they can walk on this nice flat overlay right here. Now, if we look to the north, there's kind of two main draws that come down right here, one on each side. And in the middle of the pasture is very thick cedars. So the deer don't wanna have to walk through that. So they're coming down one of these two edges. Now on this right side up here, you can see the trail that works right through here because the deer are kind of funneled through. We've just let these thick, basically bushes grow up here at the end of these cedars. And the deer don't want to have to walk through this. They're going to come right off this edge into here. And then same thing with that ditch right there and the steep embankment. They don't want to go down that and walk behind the tree stand and behind where we walked in. They basically have to come through here. Now, if we look at the other draw right on this other side here, we've got the exact same trail coming right through here. So again, these cedars in this pasture, they're basically impassable. And then on this side of the draw, there's another big ditch that comes through. Yes, the deer could go down and up that steep draw, but it's so much easier for them to just take this edge and walk right through here. You'll notice like all of these basically rose bushes and thorns and all this, like they don't want to have to walk through that. They'd much rather walk through the edge of this, through the open, and it forces them back through this channel right here, 20 yards basically in front of my tree stand. So it's perfect for a shot because this whole flat right here, it also leads right up to this point coming from the other direction. Like they don't want to have to go on the steep side of the ditch on either side. They're funneled right up to this point, right in front of this trail camera, which makes it one of the best rut funnel cameras that I have because my tree stand right there, every single deer that I get a picture of is going to be a deer that is in my shooting range, essentially. And if I'm in that stand, the only deer I'll ever have a shot at, I'm going to get a picture of them on this trail camera. This is huge for us because this spot is like an hour and a half away from where we live. And it's early October here in Nebraska now, and a lot of these deer haven't moved in yet. We're in thick ag country, so a lot of the deer are spread out, but as soon as all the corn and the beans are harvested, last week of October, first couple weeks in November, those deer pile in here. And the cell camera is a key indicator of saying, hey, like the deer are here, they're coming through, these are the bucks that are around, and we kind of need to know that information ASAP. Like, yes, we could predict that, hey, this buck was here last year, if he made it through, he should be here again kind of a thing, but this spot we honestly have new bucks show up every single year. You have no idea what's gonna be here, and you need to know immediately what buck's on the property, what bucks around are chasing does, everything else. And so this trail camera, this cell cam is crucial. Now, another thing, like this spot is so thick with just high timber, and then obviously it kind of sits in a little bit of a low spot here, so the service is really bad. In fact, I don't really have any cell service on my phone, and on the trail camera itself, for years when we ran it, we only had one bar on it. But we've got the basically extender antenna right here that we added onto the trail camera. We now have 3 bars on this trail camera. The service is awesome. So we're not missing any pictures of any deer that are coming within range of that tree stand. They're all being forced right through this funnel. I think what we're gonna do, I think we should add a rope scrape right on this branch right here. And that'll be just another thing for them to stop right in front of the camera, give them an excuse to do so. And then that gives us a perfect shot at 20 yards from the tree stand. So this is like the perfect rut funnel setup for where we like to put a stand and a trail camera. There's a few different other rut funnels that I have in multiple different properties. If you're trying to do this on your property, just a few things that you want to look for. You want to look for those physical, basically deterrents of, hey, deer do not want to have to walk through that. Like this big ditch behind me, those deer don't want to have to cross that. They would much rather take the easy route around. Or those thick cedars, they would much rather walk the edges of those cedars than come to me. A few different examples of that on some other properties is I have a fence on one property. It's super tall. The deer don't like to go over it. The wires are really low underneath. It's hard for them to go under it. If you can work with your neighboring landowner and tie the top wire and the bottom wire together and basically make it easier for those deer to go underneath or go over the top, That's an automatic funnel. Those deer will automatically use that if it's in a good spot because it's so much easier for them to cross. Another example of that is one property I have is like a pasture and then a bordering fence line where the fence line is like a ½ mile long and it is so thick the deer will not cross that fence line and go through there just because of the trees and how thick it is. So they'll walk that edge all the way down until there's basically a gate opening or an opening in the trees, and that's where they'll go through. So it's a perfect natural funnel where, again, not all times of the year are the deer here, but once the crops come out and the deer fill in here, it is magical. And this trail camera in this particular spot is perfect. So hopefully you can look at this and see the differences of how these deer are using this and apply it on your own farms and apply it in your own trail cam use for the upcoming rut. And I wish you the best of luck.